Hey, I want to hear what you guys have to say about big game publishers. What are your favorites? What are your least favorites? Do you have one? Do you dislike them? Personally, I have been going through this kind of long, drawn out kind of battle in my head about which ones I think still deserve the credit and which ones we should throw in the garbage. But I will bitch about today. Bethesda, which I never really thought I would bitch about, but after Fallout 76 and seeing how horrible that release was and how they pushed that out and how it's such a transparent money grab more than most any other game out there today, I think that's what we'll start on is Bethesda. And I want to say that, like, shame on you, Bethesda, for appearing no different than Electronic Arts and Blizzard right now. And those are the other two names I'm going to focus on, but let me get to those in due time. You know, like somebody who grew up on Morrowind and having such a good time with the Elder Scrolls series, and to see kind of how that's evolved, and to see this Fallout 76 just basically be one of the biggest money grabs and the most terribly released games of possibly all time, seeing Bethesda do this and being fine with it is something that makes me want to vomit. I don't know what you guys feel about it. Please tell me your opinions on it. There are a couple people that actually like Fallout 76 in our community, and I want to actually just slap them around and ask them, you know, what is going on. I mean, that's my personal opinion of the game, is that it's trash. They will fix it in post, right? You hear that a lot from big game publishers, and that's not something you should really hear from big game publishers at all. Games should be released in the finished state and then only enhanced. Bethesda and the way that they handled Fallout 76 and how they pushed it to release after the fact, and they said, oh, well, it's going to get better with all the patches in the future, is total garbo in my opinion. That kind of line of thinking is just like an Electronic Arts. Let's move on to Electronic Arts. Now, I recently got into the Anthem closed alpha, and I'm happy about that. I really am. And unfortunately, I can't release anything that I play or see, or, you know, God forbid I actually stream it, stuff like that, because of their NDA agreement. This is the industry standard, right? I mean, this is what we say to ourselves to make ourselves feel like that it should be an industry standard. There's a lot of people out there, more professional people than me, especially game developers, designers that work for these big names, that understand this process much better than I do. But I can tell you how it makes the average gamer feels, as I'm a gamer. I can tell you that, like, the people that didn't make the alpha are a little bit salty. The game's going to be released in 2 months from now. But honestly, the people that aren't playing it, that didn't get in the alpha, probably feeling a little chagrined right now, probably feeling a little bit sore. And I don't blame them for feeling that way. I think the process of this kind of alpha testing is fine. I think that's normal. Okay, great. It's the industry standard. But at the same time, I think this is why the indie developers are crushing it right now. Like, a lot of the kind of indie developers are opening up their alpha like in its bare state, and they're just saying, hey guys, they're just being truthful, they're being honest. It's like being, you know, if you're in a relationship with somebody, they just basically are telling you the way it is. They're like, here's how it is. You can play it the way that, you know, that it is right now if you want. Just realize this is the way it is. But these big game publisher guys, this natural process, right? This is the progression of the game and how it gets developed, and that the alpha testers are the one that make it better for the beta. I get it. But at the same time, not being able to disclose, like an Anthem, for instance, that's only 2 months away from being released. I don't know. I see that as like more of a corporate thing than anything else. These big game publishers, like, if this is the natural process, then maybe the natural process should change. Maybe people should actually question it rather than just accept it as being normal. And, you know, that's the type of person I am when it comes to anything that I'm reviewing or playing. And it's something that needs to be looked at seriously, because I think it's one of the reasons why all these big game publishers are going down in the stock market like hard. They're tanking. They're really tanking. We need to kind of shake it up. We need to change the industry. We can't just be happy with what's going on, because look at the garbage that's coming out. as gamers in a community, like, I think it's important that we step up and we voice out and people actually hear us and take us seriously. It's like they don't care about the gamers. They don't care about the very people that they're making their games for. I mean, there has to be a passion about making the game. There has to be a passion. It can't just be money, because then it becomes so transparent and it's a bad mark. And how many more times are we going to be put through these paces by these big names before we just say enough? Like, there needs to be some type of like revolt where we're just like, I don't want to do it. And you're seeing that happen with the technology. You're seeing that happen with the way that games are being produced, where indie developers are really seriously knocking the cover off the ball. And they're starting to step up because of these emergent technologies that are letting people just basically have their games funded by the people that are playing it. They don't have to worry about advertisers. They don't have to worry about that corporate kind of side to it. They're just getting their money directly from the people who want to play the game, which is kind of revolutionary. Just happened about a decade ago, and we're seeing where this goes. We're seeing where this goes. On the bad side of it, you know, then there are no release dates, and it's a continual kind of like grind to the point where like the game might not be even produced or finished because of the money or lack thereof, or the lack of interest as the game continues to grow from the indie side of it. But as I see it, the indies are actually doing better right now than the big game publishers. Let's get back to Blizzard. Sorry, I got off track. Blizzard Activision, because they bought Activision, you know. This is the craziest part to me, that Blizzard continually like neglects the very base it loved. It loved the gamer base. It listened to the gamer base. It made characters and cards and things out of the gamers who played them. Leroy, and there's so many others, like countless amounts of people out there that played the game that were just as passionate playing the game as those that made the game for them. Are the people that made WoW, the people that were working for Blizzard, are mostly gone. And that's a big deal. When that heart gets ripped out of the very soul of the publisher, what comes after? What comes after? And that's something that needs to be talked about as well. So I'm gonna step off my soapbox and get away from this very disturbingly large red rotating ball right now. But I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on the matter. What are your experiences? Any particular titles or any type of reviews that you can give into your experiences that you've had? I think I would like to hear them. I'm kind of interested. I would love to see what you guys have to say about this. I love seeing the experiences of this community and just kind of get involved in the things that you guys are feeling. Write as long as you want. Write me a story. I love it. Thanks for joining me here on The Games, and I will see you on the next vid.